Hi, this is Pat Fraley, purveyor of Duck, Doog, and villain voices. And you're watching Altered Geek.
Hello and welcome to Altered Geek Unlimited. I'm your host for this week, Michael Powers. I'm joined, as always, usually if I'm on the show, he's on the show, but he's always on the show. Steve Megatron Phillips.
Yo.
Danner is not here this week as we are recording on an off day and at almost midnight instead of the usual 10 p.m.
True.
And the reason for that is because we have a website meeting to attend to on the normal recording night. And being that it is almost midnight and Steve and I have
day jobs.
Yes. Well, yeah, I was gonna say lives. But day jobs is a lot less offensive. We're gonna keep this one short. Maybe talk about some of the stuff that was in the comments, not dive into them too much. And Danner will be back on a future episode, since he seems to have a fan in Justin Washington. So
yes.
So where do you want to start, Steve?
Well, I guess might as well bring up some of the comments just to kind of. Well, actually, I'm going to do an update on the house thing, but
oh, okay. How's that going? Did you get it?
We're still waiting to hear back from all the different company things that they have to do, all the legal crap between insurance and mortgage companies checking the house out. So yeah, we're still waiting to hear back from that. But we had the fun chore of trying to call insurance companies for the homeowners insurance.
Yeah. Because
the one the mortgage company quoted us to, for one, well, don't get me wrong, I like my mortgage guy. We know him personally, but everybody he's referred us to have been crap.
Like who? Like I mean, I've gone through 3 insurance companies since I've had my house. It's usually I started bundling my car insurance with it, with my homeowners. So like my first homeowners insurance was like $600 for the year, and then second homeowners insurance was like $700, and I think now it's $800 a year for the homeowners insurance. But my car payments are like my car insurance payments are like $300 a month for 2 cars, for full coverage on 2 cars. So,
well, the company they quoted us for was like a Frankenmuth insurance thing, or whatever.
That's interesting because that's who had me for $600, but I got rid of them because they were supposedly leaving Michigan. Like they weren't going to offer coverage in Michigan anymore.
They offer coverage in Michigan, but they're not actually based out of Michigan anymore.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because I looked enough into it, but the mortgage guy referred us to somebody that works with that company, or at least I don't know, does the agency crap for them. But they quoted us at like $1,300 for it, and I'm like, no. So, and then the second guy they did got us to like $913 or something, which was better, but we still thought we could find it cheaper. So. We shopped around, and most of them were coming up to $1,000 and everything else. So,
are you ready?
We actually went with Allstate.
Okay.
Who managed to get it for $730 a month, or not a month, a year? I keep saying month.
Yeah, it's a year.
Driving me nuts.
It's weird. It's a year.
Because I'm used to saying everything because it's a monthly payment. So
now you're rolling it into your escrow, right?
We're gonna roll it. Kind of. I'm not sure how all that crap works, but I'm going to also have it. It's going to be bundled with my car insurance, which we're going to switch from Progressive.
Right. What I mean is like your mortgage payment, that's going to pay your homeowner's insurance too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right.
So that was going to make a contributing factor in how much our payment was going to be a month, um, based on how much the homeowner's insurance
Mm-hmm.
was going to be.
Right.
So because we can only afford a certain amount, and if the homeowners would have been the $1,300, it would have pushed us over our limit.
Okay.
$900 is pushing it even, so the 700 was helping. And then we found out that by rolling into Allstate with our car insurance, we also save $200 a year on car insurance.
There you go.
So the overall is a good thing. The bad thing for me is because you know how Progressive has the snapshot?
Yeah.
Well, Allstate apparently has their own version,
Mm-hmm.
which they require to, in order to get some of these discounts for the car insurance, you have to put it in your car for a whole year, where they record everything in your car
Okay.
as far as how you drive. Well, the thing that's bad is
You're a bad driver.
No, I'm not a bad driver. I'm an extremely good driver, which is why nothing happens. But it's the speed limit I have a problem with.
It's also like driving certain times too, isn't it? Like if you're out, like after midnight.
They monitor your weekend driving.
Isn't it also too like if you're out after midnight, like during the weekday?
I'm not sure, but I'm never out after midnight. So
Right. Well, I'm just asking because my sister had that or has that, and there were like lots of little things that they were watching for. I was like, Are they driving between the hours of like midnight and 4 a.m.? And like, basically, they're saying, "Are you an alcoholic?"
Yeah. So like they say basically you can't go over 80 miles an hour.
Well, geez, how fast do you need to go, Steve?
I'm not getting into that. There are times where 90 comes in handy.
Then you might need to like loosen up your schedule just a little bit.
Yeah, that's I like driving fast.
Hmm.
I like the adrenaline pumping. So yeah, I could almost be a race car driver because it's so calming to me to drive fast.
Hmm.
And I'm driving in this little 4-cylinder Aveo.
That just sounds dangerous.
It probably is. I wouldn't recommend going over 70 technically in one of those cars, but somehow this car lets up the torque enough for me to gun it like a race car.
Okay.
My wife's car, the Chevy Sonic, that's a 2012, does not do that. It takes a while to build up, whereas the Aveo, for some reason, it just goes.
Right.
I don't know why, but it does. So, like her car, I don't drive like shit. I don't. I drive it safer. My car, I gun it. I can't help it. I did it in my truck that was an 89. I used to push that thing 85, and that was a 6-cylinder truck, and it was old. In high school, I got up to 115 in it. That was just being stupid.
What's the fastest you've ever gone in a car?
121.
Okay.
On the expressway. I did that in I think it was like a G6 convertible GT.
I did 140 in a was it the 96 to 2000 Grand Prix?
Could be.
It was the one before they were butt ugly.
Okay. Yeah, that would be that one then.
That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite cars. That style of Grand Prix, that model of Grand Prix, and ex-girlfriend had one, and she had you've got the analog speedometer that says it goes to 120,
and then the digital one on the windshield.
Yep. And I hit one. We're coming back from Great Lakes Crossing, and I hit 120, and it did the gas. I can't remember what it's called. It's the limiter. It's the gas shutoff.
Yeah, where it kicks it back. It won't let you go any further.
Yeah, the pedal went dead. So I let the pedal off the floor, and then I hit the pedal to the floor again, and then the digital speedometer went up to 140.
Nice.
I was like, okay, that's as fast as I ever need to go, ever. And nowadays, maybe it's just me being older or frugal, or just me being relaxed and kind of like I said, I enjoy driving. I don't get a kick out of doing donuts or anything like that.
I don't either.
I just I like the freedom of driving. So I don't really spend much time doing anything reckless. Usually, if I get on the expressway, I set the cruise for like 68 because that's like the sweet spot for gas mileage, and that's like a bigger concern for me. Like I know I drive a Volt now, so what gas mileage? Who cares? But for 7 years, I had a G6, and I hit that 68, the 68 miles an hour. I get probably on a good day, I can get 35 to 40 miles per gallon in that car, and it was a V6 going 68. But you go just a hair, you go 70, 72, and all of a sudden it's like the complete reversal. You're back down to like the 20s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. There are times where, if I'm driving right, I get better mileage. Obviously, I know if I'm gunning it, I'm not going to get it. Like the faster stops, the faster takeoffs, the 80 miles an hour. Those three things are what they're going to be looking for with the snapshot thing.
mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have to pay more attention for the next year, because after the year is up, once we do set this whole thing up, once the year is up and they're done recording it, you send them back this device, they record it, and then if all goes well, they actually drop your car insurance bill by 20%.
Okay.
So
Now, is there any
and then after that, you don't have to have it in there anymore.
now, is there any kind of like auditory feedback to like let you know if you're driving badly?
I don't think so.
Because I don't know if you remember, I had that automatic device for my car.
Yeah.
And that plugs into your the ODB or OBD port, like the snapshot thing does, and it would tell you, are you starting too fast? Are you driving too fast? Are you stopping too hard? And it would give out an auditory alert if you did any one of those things, so you would know if you're doing something wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It'd be kind of nice if they did that with this, because it would really suck to try your patience with driving for a year and then you go and turn it in. They're like, no, you failed. And you're like, what? I don't even know. Like, it'll be an interesting little experiment. We should keep track of this if
I'm
Alter
going to
Geek is still around.
Yeah, I'm going to try it. I don't think it'll be that much longer till we end up signing up for it. I know that we're going to sign up for it because it's the cheaper homeowners insurance.
And I know everyone's excruciatingly bored hearing us talk about insurance, but going with Allstate, did you sign up for? I don't know if you would have done this, because I think it's a little more if you put this on your plan. But every month they drop your deductible. Do they tell you about this?
As far as if you're a safe driver and have no claims, then
Yeah, you can pay like an extra $10 or $15 a month on your thing, and for every month that you're on, they knock like $100 off your deductible.
Well, it's they do something similar. It's $60 a month extra or something like that, or maybe it's less. I don't know. It's $60 a month less. But what they do is, if you don't make a claim, they drop you 40. They refund the $45 out of the 60 or something.
No, okay, that's what it is.
It's, I don't know. It's kind of goofy, but I mean, I'm all for lowering everything. I really am. I get more scared of having the snapshot thing in my car with the way I drive. And I was telling people this at work, and they're like, well, you're going to be screwed. Because they all know how I drive. So
right.
I get in one of the lot cars, and I'm like, oh, let's try out this Camaro, or let's try out this Corvette, or let's, I mean, none of it means anything to me anymore because I've driven so many of them. But I still, on the expressway going to the auction, I'm like,
like I said, we had Frankenmuth insurance when we got our house, and then we switched everything over to Allstate. And then when we just bought our new cars, I switched everything over to State Farm. Because Allstate jacked my insurance bill up about $100. It went from like 350 to 450.
Wow.
For two brand new cars with full coverage. So I was kind of like, okay. And then I had State Farm run, a thing too. And what they did is they raised my homeowner's insurance by $100, but they knocked like $115 a month off of my car insurance. So I ended up with a lower auto insurance bill, a lower monthly auto insurance bill for two brand new cars than I did when I had two fully paid off cars with Allstate. So, but that was the trade-off I made. We paid a little more for homeowners insurance than for our car. But what we do is we always pay more than what our mortgage is. So when the mortgage rate fluctuates a little bit year to year, we never notice that it's fluctuated because we always pay more. So but that's enough boring talk.
Yes. We do have a couple questions.
Let's see if we can answer just a couple of them and maybe save the ones that Danner would be able to chime in on for when we can just kind of keep compiling them.
Okay. Well, I mean, if we want to continue the car talk, Epicurious Obsidium has he says, with you getting the Volt, do we have any bad car or buying stories?
Buying stories? Like I don't have a bad buying story. I mean, I have like treating cars poorly stories.
I've got a lot of those.
But I don't have like I think the worst experience I ever had with buying a car wasn't so much that I bought a bad car, it was that I didn't really get a chance to fix the car. Being a teenager, my grandmother was being a teenager, my grandmother was gonna help me buy one of my first cars, and I wanted it was a Grand Am, and it was I wish I could remember the years of this, but I don't really know how knowledgeable our listeners are about cars, so I don't know if I should like bore them with this stuff. But it was like a 90s era Grand Am.
Okay.
It was the model before the model they got rid of for the Grand Am.
Okay.
So I don't know if you know you might know
what
what I'm talking. It was a little
I do know what
it was a little edgier than the outgoing Grand Am that was a lot rounder.
Yeah.
I really liked the look of that car, and I really wanted one. And we went and we found one, and it was really nice and everything. And there was I think I actually bought it, and something happened with the brakes on the way home with it, and instead of letting my dad, who is a mechanic in his off time, like he and I fix everything that goes wrong with my cars, instead of letting my dad and I like look into fixing the brakes on the car, my grandmother just told me to take the car back to the guy. She put a stop payment on the check that she wrote for it. And I was like, I was more heartbroken than I was mad about the brakes being broken. So it's like, man, we could have fixed that. That's like a fixable thing. But other than that, I don't have a bad. Like I have treating cars poorly stories. I don't have bad car stories. So, do you have any bad buying stories? You said you did, didn't you?
Not buying. I mean, some funny things were when I had my truck that was an 89, my wife kind of pawned it between two different dealerships that, surprisingly enough, are no longer around, to see who would give her more money for it. When we went to get her lease of the G6.
Was it Superior and
Joseph.
Yeah.
Yep. She pawned it between those two, and Joseph ended up getting it. And then before I gave it to him, I took all my aftermarket crap out of it.
There you go. I
I don't have any of it anymore, but
I bought my G6 from Joseph. Actually, I guess that's kind of see, again, it's not a bad car buying story. I've always gotten like used cars. Nice used cars and stuff like that, but I'd always had a used car, and in like March of 2007, I was living with my sister, and she knew that my car was the car that I was driving was kind of on its last legs or whatever, or at least I was putting more money into the car than it was worth to keep it running.
yeah.
And she knew that I liked the G6s, and she's like, "Oh, Joseph is having a sale on the G6s. We should go and see if we can, buy one." And we get over there and we're looking at it, and of course we find out that the sale is for the 4-door G6s. And I think the 4-door G6 is butt ugly. There's something about the back end of that car that just drives me nuts. So I was kind of like, heartbroken about it, or, kind of just down, because I got myself worked up about getting a brand new car. And she's like, well, let's just ask the guy like to run the numbers on a coupe, because I like the G6 coupe. And I fell into that whole trap of the guy said, how much can you afford to pay? And, my sister and I had not discussed how much I could afford to pay before we sat down. So I kind of made an on-the-fly decision, and I said that in my naivete, I actually said I could afford to pay about $400 a month for the car. And he made the freaking monthly payment for that car was $394 and something cents.
Wow.
And luckily I had the job at the theater, so I could afford to, make those payments. And I was fortunate enough to have the same job for the entirety of the loan. So there was never a moment where I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to make my car payment. Which was really fortunate. So, man, I love that car. I didn't shed any tears when I got rid of it for my Volt, but I did every single thing that was like in there that was like kind of like a sentimental value, like all the stuff that I had stored in like the center glove box. I've like taken out and put in a box, and I put it all back in the center console of my Volt.
Nice.
Because it's like that stuff has been with me since like 2 cars before the G6. Like that's the box of stuff that I keep in any car that I have. Like I've got Jones bottle caps, like Jones soda, like they have, how they have all those sayings in them. I don't know. Mm-hmm. And I have like all the caps that I ever have from from the summer of like 2003. Of all the Jones soda that I had that summer, I still have all those caps in my center console. Because my original thought for keeping them in there was using them as like kind of like a what should I do at this moment kind of thing, where it's like I don't know what to do. I'm going to reach in here and pull out a quote and see what it says. And maybe that will give me some direction as to what I'm supposed to do. But now they just sit there. And then I have the garage door opener that my dad gave me for his garage, which no longer works for his garage because he has since changed openers, but I still have it in my car. Up on the sun visor. But that's just to make the car, that's just to personalize the car, make it my own and stuff like that. So, but what was your favorite car?
Out of all the ones I've owned? I liked the G6 for the fact that it was, granted it was a 4-door. I liked it for the fact that it was a V6. Mm-hmm. So it had some giddy up to it.
Oh, yeah.
And I liked the style of it.
Look good from the front.
Because it was chromed out in silver.
I don't like...
it only had, the front grille was chrome.
Right. Well, chrome...
And that was it. I didn't have, the chrome handles and chrome,
Right. Well, I think...
everything else.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like chrome.
It depends. I like it on the grills, but beyond that, I don't like it.
That's one of the things that kind of drives me nuts about all GM cars right now is they put that chrome trim around the windows, and it just looks so. I don't know what it
It
is.
flakes off too
It
eventually.
just looks so bad. I mean
It
the Volt has some chrome on it, but I got it in black, and the way and where they put chrome on the Volt, it actually looks pretty good. But I was just so I don't know. I'm fortunate that I only had chrome wheels on the G6 that I had. I did not have any other chrome on it,
nice.
which I really liked. So, but yeah, so you like the G6 that you had?
I kind of liked it for that reason. I like my Sonic because it's got the most features in it for the cheapest price out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I still have to say that despite the ancient and ghetto rigged CD player that I had in it, I still love my truck. I still wish to this day I had it, even though I couldn't afford to fix it. But that was by far my favorite vehicle. It was my favorite to the point I paid a commission to a comic book artist to turn it into a transformer.
Hmm.
Gave him my truck, told him what kind of robot form I kind of wanted. It was like a bit of an Optimus Prime turning into my truck, and fusion cannon on the arm and everything. It was actually kind of cool. I got 5 different images of it as it progressed from the initial drawing to the computer generated part of it.
Oh, very cool.
And I still have it. I just got to dig it out somewhere. But it was during tax time, and he needed money to pay his taxes. So he was like, $50 commissions. And I was like, sold. Because at the time, I didn't care about money. I didn't save anything. I just blew it all. So that was something I did. And I don't regret it. I would do it again. But that's the only vehicle I cared enough to do that with.
I remember when I got my G6, which I think is also my favorite car. The G6 that I drove for 7 years. I think that's also my favorite car. I've had many a car too, but they were mostly used. I mean, they were fun cars, but the G6 was great because it was like the first new car. But one of the I actually what I got it, my dad got me this sticker. It was I don't know who someone made it for him, but it was it was the Autobots logo.
Nice.
But when you applied it to the car on the window, it looked like etched glass.
Oh, nice.
And I had that on the rear window of my car, like just above the brake light. It was probably there for at least 6 years. But I think what happened was it got so hot one summer, it burned off.
That's weird.
Yeah, one day it was there, and then the next day there were just like pieces of it left because it wasn't like it was the reason it looked like etched glass because it wasn't like it was like one contained sticker. It's like if you took the Autobots logo and like the individual segments in the Autobots logo, that was like a sticker in and of itself. So when you put the thing on your car and you pulled it away, all those little pieces were still there, but none of them were connected to each other. So there was like no frame or anything. It actually looked like etched glass. It was just it was a really cool sticker, and I was like kind of bummed when I was like, oh, it's gone. Well, crap.
Funny thing is I made that picture out to be an Autobot. My truck had a Decepticon symbol in the window behind me. And then the funny thing is my Aveo that I have now has an Autobot symbol smack dab in the middle of the rear view glass, which took me a while to see around and see through because it's red, like Autobot red. And it's on the inside on the defroster, so it's actually kind of funny. It's going to suck for whoever has to take that out when I get rid of it. But I have a chromed out one that I never took out of the package that's an Autobot symbol as well. And I think I have the Decepticon companion to the Autobot one that I have in there. So when I get my next car.
Right.
Guess what's going in the window?
I had in the Beretta that I had, I put two I say I hate chrome, but these actually looked really cool. It was a chromed Superman logo and a chromed Batman logo,
Okay.
and I had one on either side of the rear window. They look really cool. I've always been on the lookout for them. I found them originally at Hot Topic, but I've not been able to find them anywhere else. And that was, of course, that was 8 years ago now, like a long ass time ago. So, all right. So we've talked insurance, we've talked cars.
So,
What else can we bore the listeners with?
well, I think we can go something more upbeat. So how about we bring up Born Standing Up says, do you ever fear that you'll have to give up some of the geeky stuff, or do you fear that it will become a needless distraction?
Okay, I as a guy that's only been married a year and has no immediate plans for kids, no, I don't see myself giving this stuff up. But it's also because I don't see myself giving that stuff up is one of the reasons why I don't want to have kids, is because I'm very selfish with my money. I want my stuff. I don't want to have to buy stuff for small little children. But at the same time, I am well aware of the fact that if you have kids, you can buy the stuff for them or you can buy stuff for yourself under the guise that it's for them.
It works too.
However, most stuff that I would buy for a child of mine, I have no problem buying for myself anyways. I proudly display my Ninja Turtle action figures on my entertainment center, along with my Legos and my Skylanders figures. So I don't really need a small child to allow me to buy childish things. But yeah, I don't really see it getting in the way so much as, it's just, if I had a kid, I'd want to share that stuff with them. So I don't really see it becoming like a needless distraction either. I think the needless distraction would be a nice transition into something else. But what do you have to say about this, Steve?
I don't. I mean, I'm going through I've been married 5 years. I've been doing the geek thing my entire life. I've been buying whatever I feel like for the most part, nowadays, as long as my wife approves it. So, if I beat her down with it enough times, eventually she'll say yes.
I know that, yes.
It's more of the fine, get it.
Yeah, that's not a yes. That's
that's a get off my ass. I don't care anymore. I get that one often. That's why I got my computer upgraded this last year. But no. And then with having a kid, it makes it more difficult. Yes, like I don't buy as much of anything because the kid gets top priority.
Right.
And now with the house thing, I'm definitely not getting squat unless I get it for free.
Damn you for taking care of your family.
Yeah. So, but I mean, most of the time, what I enjoy doing is the podcast, the website, the watching programs and talking about them. So, I mean, it's not really taking away from anything. And for the most part, if I want to watch a cartoon series so that I have something to talk about on the podcast, I can watch them in front of my kid, and it doesn't matter, because half the time he doesn't watch it anyway, and I'm sitting there watching it while I'm yelling at him, telling him no. So, I mean, it doesn't really affect much. I mean, granted, you can't sit there and pay attention to it as well, but as far as like money, it's just, I mean, it's more of a finding a balance. It's not really taking away in any way.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree with that. Is that way with anything though? Like regardless if you have kids or not, it's about can I do this can I manage this with my other responsibilities? So
yeah, I mean that's more or less what it is. I mean, it's not. I think that everything you can find room and time to.
If there's something,
do any of it,
something you really want to do, you're gonna find time to do it.
Exactly.
And if you don't really want to do it, you're not going to find the time to do it. and I realize that that could also be a thing for why Off the Cuff hasn't been out in about a month. But
Well, to be fair, when you get new game consoles or game systems or games, it's kind of hard to want to record a podcast when you've got something much more fun to, I mean, not saying I don't enjoy the podcast or it's not fun, but when you've got that new game that you've just cracked open.
you know what? I don't even know that it's that. I just like I don't know. I don't want to go into off the cuff talk right now, but I just think I got so burned out on it. Like there was a year, not on the podcast, but on gaming itself. Like I go on these binges, and when I come out the other side of them, I'm so sick of gaming, or like just so sick of anything like whatever I've just binged on. I'm so sick of it. And 2013, I played anywhere between 1 and 3 games a month for Off the Cuff. Plus, I was reading anything and everything I could about the new consoles and all that stuff, so we could talk about it on there. And when the consoles finally hit and they arrived, and they were great and everything, I just got I was like, I don't know, I just got overwhelmed by it, and all of a sudden there wasn't anything to play on them, like until just this past month, and I was just kind of like, man, I don't even want to. I don't even want to talk about this stuff right now. So it's not that's pretty much what it is, and it just also happened to come at the same time that I went full time at my other job. Well, I still have the job in theater, and now I only have like one true day off a week, and I just like my nights to be as free as possible so I can do stuff on a whim. But most of the time, I think I just kind of describe this moment in my life, which this does happen to me every once in a while, but I feel like just being instead of doing.
I can kind of relate to that.
You just want to exist instead of like, oh man, I got to be doing something. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. You just want to be like, you just want to be.
You just want to veg.
Yes.
And just not have to be feeling like you have to do something.
Exactly. I mean, and it's not just gaming that this extends to. This also extends to like television. Like my television program right now. Like I'm so overwhelmed with television programming. And maybe I can bring this up for like I want to tease this as like something for like an upcoming episode, and maybe we can wrap this up, unless you've got something else that you really want to talk about. But
yeah, I'll get into that after.
I've gotten so overwhelmed with my television series. There are, at any given point in time, there are 60 television shows that I actively follow, and I don't have time for them anymore. I don't have time for all of them anymore, I should say. And I'm curious if I should post the list of all the TV shows that I watch and have the listeners tell me which ones I should stop watching. Or tell me which ones I should keep watching and why. But that's something we could talk about. If anyone's interested in helping me call through my TV series and tell me which ones I shouldn't watch, let us know in the comments, and I'll find a way to share the list with you guys. And yeah, you can tell me which ones to get rid of and which ones to keep watching. So, because I don't have time for them anymore. Not all of them, anyways. But I keep watching.
No,
I keep watching them, but I'm not really watching them. I just hit play and I go and do something else. Like I know there's part of me that knows that I really shouldn't be, watching this show anymore. I shouldn't be wasting my time on it. But I still put it on and watch it in the background. So.
Yeah, there's shows that I do that with. I've actually quit watching some just on that basis alone.
I mean, I've quit watching a few this year, but I've got a lot more that I could. And there are some that I know that I could drop, but I'm more interested in getting some listener interaction going on as far as that goes. So, all right, what else you got, Steve?
Well, for instance, I'm going to put a more or less a call out too. For one, I want to see if there's any other topics that anyone would like to see us cover, so that we're not boring you. Because again, I don't have problems covering different stuff, and I realize that the news thing got mighty old, mighty quick, and I fell into that. It's not the first time.
Well, we're still gonna keep the blitz, and we did talk behind the scenes about stealing a bit from another podcast that I started listening to, which we will reveal the next time we get 3 people on here. As far as news goes, and I would like to do the blitz. I think I just said that. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm losing it. I'm starting to lose it.
No, it's fine. We're almost done. I definitely look forward to doing that again, because that I think will suit the news purpose better than just sitting there going, "What's the news of the week?" I mean, unless there's specific things that people want us to talk about, I think that we'll go that route. But no, I think rather than putting up a poll and asking, more or less, I'm wondering what, besides the topics, is there some addition or change you'd like to see hit this show to more or less make it better for you?
Okay.
Because I know people like the back to basics element of not having the gigantic news and crazy tirade. So I guess that pretty much.
Oh, and keep submitting questions. We're gonna keep compiling them, and maybe like one day in the future we'll have like a big grab bag episode where we just answer questions. Plus, that gives us something to do on a night like tonight, where we're recording super late and it can't be that long. We could always just answer questions.
Yeah, that sounds good. And also be sure to be on the lookout soon, shortly after the meeting, of course. Which, yeah, nobody will know about. But anyways, there'll be good things in the plannings for 5-year. There should be a 5-year award, or not award, celebration announcement coming soon. As far as the contest that will be coming. Details are still in the plans as of this episode, so
okay.
Like I said, just be on the lookout for that. That's there'll be reason to want to participate. Plus, when the Year 5 site launches, and I've shown it to Blanchard, and I'm not sure if you've seen the recent iteration yet or not.
I don't think so.
I know everybody staff-wise has access to it. Anyways, I gave him access to get into one of the beta copies of the site, and he's going, "Oh my god, this is so great." And you know how he's stuck on nostalgia, and I like it this way because it's this way, and not trying to beat Blanchard with a dead horse. I'm seriously not. It sounds like that, but I'm not. But if he's ranting and raving about it, and everybody else has had their contributive comments put into it, it's going to be a lot more interactive. Let's just put it that way.
All right.
So
this goes up on, even though we're recording on Wednesday, this goes up on Fridays, right?
Correct.
Okay. Well, then I can go ahead and say this, and then maybe we can wrap it up. If you're planning to see Captain America 2 this weekend, you should probably go and do that. It's awesome.
Sounds good. So, thank you for listening to Altered Geek Unlimited. You can contact us in the following ways. You can get a hold of us on the Facebook fan page by searching Geekcast Radio Network. You can comment on this episode post on the website, geekcastradio.com. You can get a hold of us on Twitter by using the hashtag AlteredGeek, or my Twitter handle is SCP21, and yours is, sir?
At Boothninja81.
So until next time, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks.
Next week won't be so bad.
We promise.
Ah, brave new world that has such putzes in it. You know, kids, a lot has changed while your old Uncle Joker's been away. New Gotham, new rules, even a new Batman.
It isn't 65 years in the future, but Legends of the Dark Knight has gone beyond. Batman Beyond, that is.
The new boy. Ears are too long and I miss the cape, but not too shabby. Not too shabby at all.
Join Steve and Mike as they delve into the remaining episodes of the podcast, where they'll cover Batman Beyond, products, games, and more. Check it out only on GeekCastRadio.com.